Repeat, Move On is our March concert, and it addresses one of the fundamental questions of life. How do you know when you've done the thing that you're doing long enough? When should you stop? When should you go on to something new? And this is a question that every single composer I've ever worked with has addressed and grappled with, and sometimes won and sometimes lost. And when you think of the music of the late 20th century especially, this has really been the fundamental question. There has been music that has featured a lot of repetition, and music which seems to see repetition as the very worst thing you can do. And so we're playing on those two kinds of ideas. When do you go forward? When do you continue a thread of thought or an idea? And when do you interrupt yourself and move on? We'll start that program with Philip Glass's overture to La Belle et la Bête, The Beauty and the Beast. And Philip, as you may remember from the 2007-2008 season, when we premiered his cello concerto here, is a person who is very interested in repeating small musical gestures. And so you can expect in his La Belle et la Bête to take small gestures and repeat them, toggling back and forth, really as though he's playing around with the order of a small set of objects. This is a very beautiful piece. It's the overture to an evening-length work that is designed to accompany the Jean Cocteau film La Belle et la Bête. You'll hear the first 5 minutes in our concert in March. Then we'll move on to this year's knee commission. That's Yvonne Wu and her piece called Transcriptions of Place. Now, the great thing about a commission, that is a piece that is written for a specific concert, is that it's a brand new experience. And so at the time that I'm talking to you, I have not seen the score to Yvonne Wu's piece. And so it'd be wonderful for me to be able to tell you exactly what it's going to be like. But the great thing about music is that I think we'll all be surprised and engaged and astonished together. Finishing the first half of that concert is a piece called the Quadrichord Concerto by a UCSD alumnus and very noted Bay Area composer, Paul Drescher. Now, you may be wondering what a quadrichord is. A quadrichord is one of Paul's myriad invented instruments. He is a fascinating composer, a performer of significant power, and also an instrument maker and inventor. He studied with Robert Erickson, the founder of the UCSD music department, who himself was making instruments and experimenting with tuning. And so Paul has constructed a quadrichord, which, if you think about that word, is exactly what this instrument is. 4 strings. And they're very long strings of about 10 feet in length. The strings are then picked up with a guitar pickup and amplified. So you'll hear these enormous low bass sounds and then all kinds of harmonics that he activates with sticks and mallets and even some ball bearings from time to time. He's written a piece for this instrument and a symphony orchestra, which is a strange thing by itself because the quadrichord is in just intonation. That means that it has an intonation scheme which is not the same one that the orchestra uses. And so to rectify the tuning differential, we'll split the orchestra into 2 parts. Half of the orchestra will play in normal tuning, what we call equal temperament, and a small group will play in just intonation with the soloist. And it's going to be a fascinating and absolutely captivating musical experience. I promise a considerable amount of excitement and enjoyment. Well, in the scheme of Repeat, Move On, the thing that does both is a river, of course. A river which is always the same and never the same. And we take our inspiration for this concert then from Aaron Copland's Appalachian Spring, a spring that feeds a river, is the source of life, and of course that's the word for spring in French itself, source. And so we'll see that this piece is a study in objects which are beautiful by themselves and seem to want to hold still so you can examine them and make them repeat forever, and then sudden moments when the piece just moves forward. It's a piece that was designed for choreography. We will be presenting it in a concert, in a staged version, not in a choreographed version, but originally the collaboration was with the Martha Graham and her dance troupe. And so the piece really speaks about movement, it speaks about dance, it implies gesture. And so from Philip Glass's piece, which spins out a sort of small set of rhythmic cells, to Yvonne Wu's brand new piece, to Paul Drescher's version of motoric rhythm, to the lively Aaron Copland Appalachian Spring. This will be a concert of significant movement and significant repetition.